this has its roots in Japan's colonization of South Korea between 1910 and 1945. And the issues that came out of that, I can tell you, are always in the media spotlight in the region. From my reporting in Tokyo, it's never far out of the news. There was the issue over the Japanese military forcing South Korean women into sex slavery, called comfort women in the region, and also the issue of Japanese companies forcing South Koreans to work in their factories. Now, last year, a South Korean court ordered several Japanese companies to make compensation of hundreds of thousands of dollars to former forced laborers in South Korea. Companies like Nippon Steel, Sumitomo Metal, Mitsubishi, and several others could be in the pipeline. There are lots of other pending cases that involve different Japanese companies. Now, Japan says that no compensation is owed because all of that was settled in the 60s when the two countries normalized relations. Of course, South Korea disagrees with that. And as a result, they did seize some Japanese corporate assets in the country last year. Now, fast forward to this last week, and what we had was Japan announcing stricter export controls to South Korea on 3 key materials, which I won't even try to pronounce, but they are key ingredients used in semiconductor memory chips and smartphones. So something that is heavily relied on by the likes of Samsung, LG, SK Hynix. They actually source over 90% of 2 of those materials from Japan, over 40% for the other. And if you consider that these South Korean firms actually contribute well over 2/3 of all these memory chips to around the world, then the global ripple effect, of course, of any export controls could potentially be very big.
Where does the World Trade Organization fit in here when a country is threatening trade tariffs as a result of something like this?
Yeah, and I think the international community has to look at Japan and worry about its free market, get concerned about the idea of protectionism. South Korea has raised a complaint with the WTO saying that this is political retaliation, saying that this is illegal. Japan says not. Japan says it is simply reviewing export controls in the light of its own security concerns. And if that were the case, if it's security concerned only, then that would be fine under WTO rules. Now, it could take a very long time, of course, for the WTO to come up with any kind of conclusion or resolution. And in the meantime, we could see further escalation.
U.S. defense official says North Korea has launched at least one short-range projectile. Let's go to Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr with the latest. Barbara?
Hi, Amber. The information here at the Pentagon is very preliminary, and that's why they are not saying a lot about it. But the initial report, the initial assessment, indeed, is that North Korea fired at least one short-range projectile a short time ago. They are not able to say yet whether it's a ballistic missile, artillery, what kind of projectile it was, or whether there was more than one. They're not ready to make that announcement because they are still analyzing the intelligence that is coming in. It is being described to us as similar to the incident in May when North Korea did fire 2 short-range missiles. This will not be an event that will cause President Trump to have to publicly say, if he doesn't want to, that North Korea is back in the testing program. They're kind of below that radar of being a crisis. So it's apparently, by all accounts, a very particular move by Kim Jong-un to send a message he can still test fire when he wants to, but he is not really thumbing his nose at the president. This, by all accounts at this point, is not a long-range missile, not a threat to the United States, not something that will have to cause President Trump to come out and disavow Kim's friendship that he talks about so much.